From the legendary katana to the Type 100 submachine gun, from Nambu pistols to knee mortars, these are the weapons that armed the Imperial Japanese forces throughout the Pacific War. From Pearl Harbor to the jungles of Guadalcanal, every weapon tells a story of tradition, innovation, and fierce determination. Let's begin with pistols and sidearms. Pistols and sidearms. Type 26 revolver. An aging design dating back to the Meiji era, this break-top revolver fired a unique 9mm Japanese cartridge. Though obsolete by World War II standards, it remained in service with officers and rear echelon troops throughout the conflict. Nambu Type 14. The most common Japanese pistol of the war. With its distinctive grip angle and exposed sear bar, the Type 14 was notoriously unreliable in muddy conditions. Allied soldiers often called it the worst pistol of the war. Type 94, perhaps the most dangerous pistol ever issued to any army. The Type 94 had an exposed sear that could be accidentally triggered from the side, causing unintended discharge. It was cheap, poorly designed, and potentially lethal to its own user. Nambu Type A, also known as the Grandpa Nambu. This was an early automatic pistol used primarily by officers, resembling a German Luger. It was well made but expensive, limiting its production and widespread adoption. Type 57, a rare pistol used primarily by the Special Naval Landing Forces. Based on an older design, it saw limited service but represented Japan's attempts to modernize their sidearm inventory before the war. Hamada Type, a desperate wartime pistol produced in small numbers. Using a simplified blowback action, it was rushed into production as Japan's industrial capacity crumbled under Allied bombing raids. Submachine Guns. Type 100, Japan's only mass-produced submachine gun, featuring a distinctive bayonet lug and firing a relatively weak 8mm Nambu cartridge. It arrived late in the war. Its curved magazine and wooden stock made it recognizable, though it never achieved widespread issue. Experimental Type 2, a prototype submachine gun developed late in the war, using stamped parts to speed production. Only a handful were ever made before Japan's surrender ended the program. Rifles and carbines. Type 30, the grandfather of Japanese bolt-action rifles. This long rifle served from the Russo-Japanese War through early World War II. Its distinctive hook safety and 6.5mm cartridge set the pattern for future designs. Type 38, the standard Japanese infantry rifle for much of the war, long, accurate, and firing the mild 6.5mm Arisaka cartridge, it produced minimal recoil. Its length made it excellent for bayonet fighting, a Japanese specialty. Type 44, a cavalry carbine variant of the Type 38. It featured a permanently attached folding bayonet, allowing mounted troops to have a bayonet always at hand. The distinctive folding spike made it instantly recognizable. Type 97, a sniper variant featuring a telescopic sight mounted on the left side. Japanese snipers used these rifles effectively in the dense Pacific jungles, picking off Allied troops from concealed positions. Type 99, reintroduced to replace the Type 38, this rifle fired a more powerful 7.7mm cartridge. Late war examples showed declining quality, with rougher finish and simplified parts as Japan's industry struggled under bombing. Type 2, a paratrooper rifle that could be broken down into two pieces for easier carrying during airborne operations. The takedown feature made it unique among Japanese rifles, though few paratroop operations occurred. Type 1, a rare semi-automatic rifle based on American designs, only produced in small numbers. It represented Japan's attempt to modernize infantry firepower before industrial limitations ended the program. Machine guns. Type 3, a heavy machine gun adapted from the French Hotchkiss design. Using the 6.5mm cartridge and strip-fed ammunition, it saw service from World War I through the early Pacific campaigns. Type 11, a unique light machine gun fed from a hopper that accepted standard rifle clips. This allowed soldiers to share ammunition between rifles and machine guns, but the complex mechanism was prone to jamming in jungle conditions. Type 91, a tank-mounted version of the Type 11, adapted for use in armored vehicles. It retained the hopper feed system, making ammunition supply easier for tank crews during extended engagements. Type 92, the heavy battalion machine gun, nicknamed Woodpecker by American troops for its distinctive slow-firing sound. Mounted on a tripod, it provided sustained fire support, but was heavy and required a full crew. Type 96, an improved light machine gun, replacing the Type 11. Top-mounted curved magazine and 6.5mm chambering made it more reliable. It became the standard squad automatic weapon for Japanese infantry throughout the war. Type 99, the ultimate Japanese light machine gun, chambered in 7.7mm with a quick-change barrel. It was reliable and effective. Late production models showed simplified construction as resources dwindled. Type 1, a heavy machine gun designed for aircraft use. When mounted on flexible mounts in bombers and fighters, it provided defensive firepower against attacking Allied aircraft. Type 89, a twin-mount aircraft machine gun, firing the 7.7mm cartridge. Fixed in fighter wings or flexible in bomber positions, it was standard armament on many Japanese aircraft types. Anti-tank weapons. Type 4, a 70mm recoilless rifle developed late in the war. Shoulder-fired and lightweight, it gave infantry a portable anti-tank capability, though few reached frontline units before surrender. Magnetic mine, a hand-placed hollow charge with magnets to stick to tank holes. Soldiers had to approach within arm's reach to attach it, making its use suicidal against alert tank crews. Type 3, a shaped charge anti-tank grenade. Thrown or placed, it could penetrate armor but required dangerously close approach to enemy vehicles, reflecting Japan's desperate defensive tactics. Grenades and explosives. Type 91, the fragmentation hand grenade. Requiring a hard surface strike to activate its fuse, it featured a distinctive grooved body. Simple and reliable, it was the most common Japanese grenade. Type 99, Wujishinhai no Appeal, a magnetic anti-tank grenade designed to stick to armored vehicles. Its magnets allowed attachment, but the small charge was rarely enough to disable modern tanks. Type 3, a stick grenade similar in concept to German designs. The wooden handle allowed for greater throwing distance, and it saw limited use with special assault units. Smoke grenade. Type 94, a white smoke grenade used for signaling and screening movements, essential for coordinating attacks and masking troop movements from enemy observation. Type 93 foe, a mine detector clearing charge, used by engineers to clear paths through minefields. It consisted of explosive blocks connected by detonating cord. Flamethrowers. Type 93, the standard Japanese flamethrower, consisting of 2 fuel tanks, one on the back, and a nozzle gun. It could project burning fuel up to 25 meters, used primarily in bunker assaults and cave clearing. Type 100, an improved model with better range and fuel capacity, lighter and more reliable. It saw increased use as Japanese forces were pushed into defensive positions, requiring close-quarters weapons. Mortars and grenade launchers. Type 110, a 50mm grenade discharger, incorrectly called a knee mortar by Allied troops who injured themselves trying to fire it from their legs. Highly portable, it gave squads organic indirect fire capability. Type 89, a 50mm light mortar proper, distinct from the grenade discharger. More accurate and with better range, it provided precise indirect fire support at the platoon level. Type 94, a 90mm mortar providing battalion-level fire support, capable of high-angle fire It was effective in mountainous and jungle terrain where direct fire weapons struggled. Type 97, an 81mm mortar that became the standard medium mortar. Reliable and effective, it could deliver devastating indirect fire, but its weight limited mobility in dense jungle. Heavy weapons and artillery. Type 92, a 70mm battalion gun that could function as both infantry support and light anti-tank weapon. Its low profile and portability made it valuable in jungle warfare. Type 94, 77mm anti-tank gun mounted on a split trail carriage. Against early war Allied tanks, it was effective, but by 1943, it was obsolete against improved armor. Type 1, a 47mm anti-tank gun with improved penetration. Arriving late in the war, it could challenge medium tanks from ambush positions, but struggled against heavy armor. Type 90, a 75mm field gun serving as the primary divisional artillery piece. Capable of both direct and indirect fire, it provided crucial fire support throughout the Pacific campaigns. Type 88, a dual-purpose 75mm anti-aircraft and anti-tank gun. Effective against both aerial and ground targets, it defended crucial installations throughout the Pacific. Type 89, a 1227mm heavy anti-aircraft gun. Protecting naval bases and major cities, it created devastating flak barrages against Allied bombing raids. Type 96, a 15mm howitzer, providing heavy artillery support. Its large shells delivered devastating effect, but required significant logistical support to maintain ammunition supply. Type 5, Oba, a desperate improvisation mounting a 75mm gun on a wooden carriage. Crude but functional, it reflected Japan's collapsing industrial capacity in the final months. Swords and traditional weapons. Type 94, the standard officer's shin gun to sword. While retaining the traditional katana shape, it used modern manufacturing methods. Officers considered it both a weapon and a symbol of Bushido spirit. Type 95, an NCO sword with a simplified design. Shorter and less ornate than officer swords, it was issued to sergeants and warrant officers as a badge of rank. Type 98, the naval officer's kai gunto, featuring distinctive naval motifs and often higher quality than army swords. It represented the prestige of the Imperial Navy. Traditional katana, family heirloom swords carried by some officers. These ancient blades represented centuries of tradition and were considered priceless. Many officers preferred them over issued swords. Tantu was a traditional dagger carried by many soldiers and officers. Used both as a utility knife and a last resort weapon, it held deep cultural significance in Japanese military tradition. Close combat weapons. Bayonet Type 30. The longsword bayonet fitted to Type 30 and 38 rifles. Its excessive length made it unwieldy for anything but charges, but reflected Japanese emphasis on close combat. Bayonet Type 44. The integral folding bayonet on Type 44 cavalry carbines. When folded, it lay beneath the barrel, deploying forward when needed for mounted or dismounted combat. Bayonet Type 99. A shortened bayonet for the Type 99 rifle, more practical in length. It balanced effectiveness with maneuverability in the confined spaces of jungle warfare. Entrenching tool. Beyond its primary purpose, the standard shovel became an improvised close combat weapon. In desperate fighting, soldiers used whatever came to hand, from the traditional katana to the desperate lunge mine, from the reliable Type 38 to the infamous Type 94 pistol. These weapons tell the story of Imperial Japan's war machine. They reflect both ancient warrior traditions and modern industrial warfare, innovation alongside obsolescence, quality craftsmanship, and wartime desperation. This was every Japanese weapon used in World War II.